In a significant diplomatic development, the United States and Russia have reached an agreement for a forthcoming meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, as announced by the Kremlin on Thursday. This will mark their first encounter since Trump's return to office. Yuri Ushakov, an advisor to Putin on foreign matters, highlighted that a venue for this meeting has been selected and will be disclosed shortly. With both parties currently fine-tuning the details, they are aiming for the session to take place next week. This announcement followed Trump's remarks on Wednesday, where he indicated there's a good chance of soon meeting not only with Putin, but also with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Trump's push for a resolution to the ongoing 3-year conflict in Ukraine has led him to seek an end to Russia's military actions in the region. In the context of this evolving situation, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated on the same day that Russia had proposed a discussion between Trump and Putin, and Trump appears to be receptive to engaging with both the Russian and Ukrainian leaders. When asked whether Putin and Zelenskyy were tentatively on board for a summit, Trump expressed optimism, saying there's a very good prospect that they will, though he was uncertain about the location. This dialogue comes as Trump faces a deadline on Friday, a tipping point by which he demands Russia agree to a ceasefire with Ukraine or risk facing sanctions. It's uncertain how the anticipated meeting between Trump and Putin will impact this approaching deadline. Earlier on Wednesday, Putin hosted Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy, for a lengthy and productive discussion in Moscow. Following their talks, Trump took to Truth Social to reflect on the productive nature of their meeting, indicating that great progress was made. This stands in stark contrast to his previous month where he expressed frustration regarding Russia's actions. Ushakov reported that Witkoff had suggested the possibility of a trilateral meeting involving Putin, Trump, and Zelenskyy, but noted that the Kremlin chose not to comment on this proposition. In addition to these diplomatic talks, Trump engaged in discussions with European leaders and NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte. A senior official from the Trump administration conveyed to CBS News that meetings, such as the one between Witkoff and Putin, are viewed positively. The Russians are eager to maintain an ongoing dialogue with the United States, the official stated. Secretary of State Marco Rubio hinted that more discussions are expected throughout the day, with potential announcements on the horizon that may yield positive or negative outcomes. In a parallel development, Zelenskyy made a public appeal on Thursday for a direct face-to-face meeting with Putin, underscoring his belief in the necessity of leadership-level discussions to forge effective solutions to the conflict. He expressed on social media that we in Ukraine have repeatedly stated that meaningful resolutions can only come at the leadership level, and he encouraged Europe's participation in these crucial negotiations. Zelenskyy emphasized, Ukraine is willing to meet and expects the same courageous response from Russia. He closed his message with a call to action stating, "It is time to end the war. Thanks to everyone who supports us." Throughout this tense period, Trump has reiterated his call for both Russia and Ukraine to reach a ceasefire, swinging between attributing responsibility to Putin and Zelenskyy for the lack of progress. Recently, he has shown increased dissatisfaction with Putin due to ongoing assaults on Ukrainian cities, which continue to exacerbate the situation. Just last week, Trump issued an ultimatum for Putin to reach a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine within a 10-day window, or face sanctions, which would also extend to nations that continue to engage in trade with Russia. As this deadline looms, a senior Trump administration figure confirmed that secondary sanctions are still set for implementation by Friday, potentially reshaping the geopolitical landscape. In a strategic move against international trade ties to Russia, Trump has begun targeting specific Russian partners, including imposing an additional 25% tariff on Indian imports, due to India's continued oil purchases from Russia. This raises the total tariff on Indian goods to 50%. In an intriguing counterpoint, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, who currently serves as the deputy chair of Russia's Security Council, reacted to Trump's sanctions threats by cautioning that each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war. Trump, in response to Medvedev's remarks, characterized them as highly provocative and signaled his intent to bolster military readiness by positioning 2 submarines in strategically relevant areas. Moreover, Trump's commentary about Zelenskyy in the past has been contentious, at times criticizing him for allegedly prolonging the war that began in February 2022. Throughout his presidency, the U.S. military aid to Ukraine has been subject to pauses and reinstatements, reflecting the complexities of international relations at play. As this high-stakes diplomatic scenario unfolds, what are your thoughts? Are you optimistic about the potential outcomes of the Trump-Putin meeting, or do you believe deeper conflicts lie ahead? Share your opinions in the comments.